guys, welcome back to my channel for my August monthly wrap-up. So in August I read 10 books, and if you have noticed, my thumbnail will only have 4 books because I only read 4 physically and I listened to the other 6. And let's pull out my little thing to find out which order we listened to them in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these books are all in the same series, so I'll do those together. The first book that I listened to was Land on the Offbeat. I really liked Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and I enjoyed The Upside of Unrequited, but not nearly as much as Simon. Simon was just a 5 out of 5 book for me. So Leah was a 4 out of 5 book for me. She was cute and I really liked it, but she was kind of a Wayne Annie and she kind of pissed me off at times. And I understand that it was kind of just her character arc, but at the same time, listening to the way she treated people kind of bothered me. Whereas Simon was just, I just loved it so much. So far, nothing has lived up to the first book in that grouping. Even though they're all kind of standalones, they all fit in the same world and share characters. So I kind of think of them as that. And I would say that Leah is definitely a number 2, whereas The Upside was not. But yeah, whatever, I'm off on a tangent. Anyways, the point being that I listened to Leah on the Offbeat and I enjoyed it. Definitely wasn't my favorite, but when I was coming home from Europe, I spent part of the time listening to it while I was sick with the flu in July. And then I finished it on August 1st when we were heading home. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to reading any more of Becky Albertalli's books. So in the correct order that I listened to them, we have The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, The Horse and His Boy, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I am working my way through the Narnia books, and I am reading them in not publication order, I'm reading them in chronological order. So technically, I can't remember what they are. I technically have listened to like 1, 2, 4, 7, and 6 or something, I don't know. But I am doing it the way that it does it chronologically. I think chronologically makes more sense than publication order, because publication order, the first book chronologically is the last book or something weird like that. And so I wanted to read them this way. So I still have 2 left to go. I kind of put them on hold while I was reading the Anti-Darken books, because the Anti-Darken books need a little bit more brain power, and therefore I've been listening as well as reading those, which I don't have here with me. I just finished it this month. Never mind. That will be in September's wrap-up. But I did put those on hold because of the books I'm currently listening to. So if you didn't know, you are seeing this on Friday, and on Tuesday of this week, which is like 2 days from now, we're having a huge storm come in. My brain is on storm mode, and I'm thinking, what can I do for my channel to make sure that it keeps up and running for at least the next week or so? I'm filming. What's happened to my brain now? So please bear with me. Out of the group so far, I tried reading The Magician's Nephew a long time ago, and the language really was a barrier for me because of the way they speak. They speak in English, in a more older English vocabulary. So I mean, these books are like 50, 60 years old or something. And so they definitely spoke different than. My English is good. So I found that listening to them really helped. And so whereas it took me forever to read The Magician's Nephew, I very much enjoyed listening to it. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the kids, I loved hearing all about them. And where I'm at right now in the series is, okay, so The Silver Chair is the 6th book in the series. chronologically, and it does not have any of the Narnia kids in it. It has a relative of the Narnia kids in it. So I thought this was going to be better just to, like, you know, read from front to back. I really, really enjoyed. Okay, so let's go through these. The Magician's Nephew is the start of Narnia. It's the beginning of the world, per se. So you have C.S. Lewis creating Narnia out of nothing, out of black. And it was kind of a cool experience to watch the Lion build all of this. And then you have The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which everyone's heard of. Many have seen the movies. I have seen the movies. It actually does follow pretty close to the movies. They did a really good job with it. But then again, these books aren't very big, so I understand why they were able to. Prince Caspian is also a movie, which I've never seen. I keep starting it, but I've never finished it. I hope you can't hear all the ambient noise. I have police cars going by. I have the dryer going, like, again, prepping for the storm. I'm washing clothes, so the dryer's going. But Prince Caspian is a year after the kids come back from Narnia. They go back again, and when they go back to visit Caspian, they are 1,000 years after the original, because Narnian time doesn't work the same way that our world does, and so 1 year in our world happened to be 1,000 years in Narnia. Whereas The Horse and Their Boy takes place between Caspian and the next time the kids come into the world. The Dawn Treader is the next time that the kids come into the world, and that one is 3 years after they come back to begin with. Okay, I'm not explaining this very well, am I? So in Narnia, between Narnia, the first 2 books, they have 1,000 year difference. And then with the kids, not without the kids, the first one's like way before. So the next one is like 1,000 years. So the kids come, they're gone into the real world for a year, they come back, it's been 1,000 years. This time they go away for a year, they come back, it's been 3 years. And there's a book in between. So you have the children, you have a book, you have the children again, you have, then the next book, the Dawn Treader, where it's the 3 years, you only get 2 of the kids and you get a cousin. And then the next one after that is like 80 years have passed and only the cousin comes, not their kids, because apparently you can be too old to go to Narnia. I don't quite understand it. And this probably makes no sense whatsoever. I gave all of them 4 out of 5 stars. They were really fun to listen to. I very much enjoyed the narrator. They were fast, and I was able to listen to a bunch of them on the flight home from Europe. So every time I was on the plane, I was listening to these books, and I banged out like one, and then a half of one, and then another one, half of one, another part of one, and just every time I made a flight, I listened to more, so I got through 5 of them. That was really confusing, and I'm sorry. So now we'll move on to the books I had next to me. And now they're in no particular order, because I was just curious why I've read those ones. So I'm gonna flip them. I think this is how I read them. This one is The Stars of Fortune. It's the Nora Roberts book that I bought at Book Off in like January or February. And it's a romance, but it's kind of a supernatural romance. So you have these 3 goddesses in, it got dark. Hello, why is it dark? Okay. Sure, I can do that. So we have 3 goddesses that are in a different world. And in this world, they want to make 3 stars to support the new queen that was just born. And then you have this dark goddess who wants to steal the power that they're giving to this queen. And so she puts a spell on the stars that these 3 goddesses have sent into the sky with their wishes. It's kind of like Sleeping Beauty, where Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather each wanted to bestow a wish onto Princess Aurora, and Maleficent comes in and gives her her own damning wish. It's kind of that idea. And so the damning wish is to turn these 3 wishes negative and cause the end of the world. So they put like a protection on it that once the stars did fall, they wouldn't fall to the evil goddess. They'd fall to Earth, and that protectors would come and find them. So now they have fallen, and this one woman, Sasha. My gosh, am I getting that right? Sasha? Yes, Sasha. Sasha is a seer, and she sees the stars, she sees battles, and she sees 5 other people. She sees 2 women and 3 men who are all interested on saving these stars. So she goes to this little island. My gosh, my brain is not working. I'm thinking about Capri, which is the second book right now. And it's not where the first one takes place. Where's the first one take place? In a Greek island called Corfu. I'm not sure what that is. But it's a little Greek island, and she goes there knowing that she's going to meet these people, and she meets all 5 people, so there's 6 of them total, and their job is to find and protect the stars. It's really cute. There is definitely some supernatural elements to it, and definitely has some sexy time romance in it. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a good story, and I'm finding it really funny. It took me a little while to get used to her writing, though, because I don't like the way she describes things. And now that I'm in the second book, it doesn't bother me anymore. But it really bothered me at the beginning of this one, and I almost put it down. But once I made it to chapter 2 and actually got into the story, I stopped noticing it. So I'm not sure if it will bother anybody else, but it did it first for me, but it's fine after a little bit. The next thing I read was Tequila Kingdom. I started this one before I left for our trip in June. Yeah, June. I can't remember when I went on this trip anymore. In June I started it, but I was so preoccupied by packing I couldn't get into it, so I only made it about halfway through. So when I got home, I finished the other half of it, and it was amazing. I really, really enjoyed the book. People are love-hating about this. Some of them love it, some of them hate it. I was in the love category. I think I gave it 4 stars because it wasn't the most amazing book I've ever read, but it was definitely a top contender for me. It was one I really much enjoyed. It is kind of a Little Mermaid retelling. It's about a mermaid. No, I'm sorry. It's about a siren, because mermaids are like fishy creatures that only want to devour things. But the sirens are more human-like, and they're the ones that sing to kill, basically. So you have this one siren, and again, her name eludes me, Lyra. I'm good at this. Lyra is the like princess of the sirens. Her mother is the sea witch, who would be like the Ursula character, and she likes to collect the heart of princes' hearts. She thinks that it makes her special to only have the prince's hearts. They call her the Princess Bane. So when she collects a heart too soon, you're only supposed to collect them on your birth month as like a birthday present to yourself. When she collects one a month early, her mom gets pissed off and curses her to steal the heart of this prince, who is the siren killer. And the siren killer only wants to kill the Princess Bane, but he kills anyone that he gets in contact with. So so she is told that she has to kill this prince, but she has to do it in human form. So her mom turns her into a human girl, takes her voice, and leaves her in the ocean for the prince to find. And then there we have a story of hatred and love and adventure, war. Yeah, okay, whatever. I liked it. I thought it was really good. I'm looking forward to more of these types of stories because it's really big this year, apparently. All these siren and pirate stories are abound, and I am hopefully going to read one this month. So the next book I read was The Wicked Deep. I read it with my friend Ashley, and we got it because it was supposed to be this witchy story that sounds a lot like Hocus Pocus. It's about these girls who were drowned in a harbor for being witches. And every year during that month, they come back for the month to steal the bodies of female girls and kill the boys in town. It has become this huge spectacle where they call it Swan Season because they were the Swan sisters. And they actually have a big festival about it, and they watch to see who gets stolen and who gets murdered. And it's supposed to be like a witch story, but the girls aren't really witches. It's more like a cursed story that they died in such extreme agony, extreme anger, pain, that kind of thing, that they just kind of ended up getting cursed to live forever and haunt the boys of this town. I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot. It's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. It's gotten a lot of people that were hoping it was more witchy, that were hoping it was more supernatural. If I hadn't been reading with Ashley, she would have quit because it was not really a witch story. It was more of a curse story, and she was having a really hard time getting into it because she's the type that only likes fantasy supernatural. And this wasn't quite supernatural-ish enough for her. It was more like a magical realism than anything else. But I thought it was a good story. I liked the premise of it. It definitely was a little bit wicked. They call them sirens because they're killing boys, but they're not mermaids or sirens. They're just cursed girls. But it was still a really good book. And of course, part of the fun of reading it was the fact that the naked cover is stunningly beautiful. But anyways, all that aside, I really did enjoy this one. This one was a 4 for me. I couldn't give it a 5 because it just wasn't quite a 5 scale, 5-star, whatever. So I think that's what I gave it. I don't remember. Oh, I did give it a 5. Never mind, I gave it a 5. I apparently liked it more than I thought I did. Okay, cool. So yeah. And then the last book that I read, I also buddy read it with Murphy from YouTube and Chris from YouTube. Me and Chris have small channels. Murphy does not, but we read it with her. She doesn't talk a lot during the buddy reads. She like gives updates and thoughts and opinions, but she doesn't really conversate with you. When you give your thoughts and opinions, she doesn't do a lot of the back and forth thing. So it was more me and Chris that were doing the back and forth thing, which I really like to do when I buddy read, is really have a conversation with the people I'm reading with. But we read The Hobbit. I watched the movies when they first came out years ago, but I don't really remember the movies. So the first chunk of the book is about Bilbo Baggins, and Gandalf comes and tells Bilbo that he's going on an adventure. He does not want to go, but Gandalf marks his house anyways, and a bunch of dwarves show up for tea and basically eat him out of house and home and tell them that he's going on an adventure. And he says that hobbits don't go on adventures. It's very unseemly. It's not their character. But they go on an adventure anyways. So I was having a hard time concentrating on the book. So I ended up doing like a book listen/read at the same time. So I read it and listened to it at the same time to help get me over some of the humps of the language. But I found it to be a fun book. I know that the beginning of the book, at least until you get to meet Gollum, is very true to the movie. And I don't remember anything after that. I remember Smaug, who is the dragon. So the basics is that Smaug lives in a mountain full of treasure. He kicked the dwarves out of this mountain, and now, hundreds of years later, the dwarves want their mountain back, and they want Smaug to leave. So they're on this adventure to go kick Smaug out of the mountain. And I remember Smaug being in the movies, and I remember the beginning of the book being in the movies, but the whole middle to end of it was not what I expected. There is several war scenes, but they're very glossed over, which I get to a point because this is a middle grade book, but I also know that Harry Potter's a middle grade book, and that one has some pretty epic war scenes. So I guess maybe it's just the time. Maybe this was old enough where they didn't want to scare the kids, and so as a middle grade they made the war scenes kind of glossed over. So the language is a little different, the action's a little bit different, there's a lot of traveling in it, you meet a lot of really fun characters, and basically you're on a mission to go get treasure. But I liked it a lot. I really much, very much, really much. Well, I keep saying really much. I very much enjoyed it. I do want to read the Lord of the Rings books, which I have down over here on my shelf. I'm gonna have to listen to those ones too, because I have a feeling I'm gonna have the same problem with those ones I have with these ones. Those ones are in tiny little books, so I'm really scared about how tiny the words are gonna be. So I will get to that eventually. I think we're gonna do that soonish. Not this month though, because I already have a lot of books to read this month. So we'll probably read it like after October, because October I have a bunch of books I want to read too, because books are coming out that month. Yay. But so for this month, 10 books is not bad. A lot of audiobooks, but I definitely had fun reading them and listening to them. And I hope that you had a good month too. I'd love to hear what you read. If you have any suggestions for books to read based on what you've seen here or what you've seen in my past videos, or that you know I have, and you say, oh, you have to read this book, let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for more books to read. But until I talk to you guys again, I will hopefully see you soon. So next week, everything is pre-filmed. We have a storm coming, and I'm hoping that I will have internet access soonish. But if the storm is as bad as I say it is, I may be out of internet for like a week or two. So I have this week's, which you are at the end of right now, and I have all of next week already filmed and ready to go up. So hopefully I'll see you soon. If not, please bear with me. I'm stuck on an island with a typhoon coming. But anyways, yeah, talk to you later.